Hi. Okay. So if you're running Microsoft Windows 10, you should know that Windows has reached end of life. And in this video, we want to explore what are the options now for you moving forward. So Microsoft announced as of October 14th, 2025, that they are no longer supporting Windows 10. Basically, Windows 10 has reached end of life. And I did a blog post on this. If you want more details, you can go ahead and check this one out. Windows 10 is dead, and I explore what you can, what are your options moving forward. So basically, what you have is a situation where Microsoft has ended support for Windows 10. And so for Windows 10 Home and Pro users, they're no longer going to be receiving security updates. They're not going to be receiving bug fixes. So you have millions of users. Windows 10 is a very popular operating system. You have millions of users who are using it. And so moving forward long term, it's no longer a viable option to remain on Windows 10. And so you'll see a lot of communication from Microsoft concerning the end of support. If you want to find out what that means, you can follow any of these links just to be able to learn about what that means for you. Essentially, you're at a crossroad. If you're running Windows 10, you have to make a choice. And really, the options that you have moving forward are for you to upgrade. Okay, so move to Windows 11. And then if you are able to upgrade to Windows 11, you're fine. But then you're going to have a situation where, for example, if you look at my own laptop here, let's say I want to upgrade to Windows 11. Windows 11 will have certain requirements that my PC has to meet. There are two specific components, something to do with TPM, and also something to do with your processor that need to be able to meet the minimum requirements for Windows 11. Now, there is a temporary solution that Microsoft is providing where you can enroll in this program to receive extended security updates for about a year. So this is a paid subscription service that Microsoft is giving to those who want to stay on the Windows 10. And so if you want, you can be able to enroll. And if you want to learn more about this, then you can also find it out, here, just what that means for you in terms of if you want to receive this. Essentially, you stay protected through for one more year until October 2026. But of course, it comes at a cost. It's a paid subscription, so you need to be aware of that. Okay. So here we're looking at the options. So option number one, stay on Windows 10, maybe get extended support if you really need to stay on Windows 10. You can go ahead and check that one out. But remember, this is a temporary fix. It's not a long-term solution. So you're really just kicking the bucket down the line. You're delaying the inevitable. You actually just need to upgrade. So the next viable option really is to upgrade, okay, to Windows 11. So like I said, you have options. You can be able to upgrade. Now, Windows provides you with a possibility to check if you're on Windows 10, whether you can upgrade to Windows 11. And that's what I want to go ahead and explore right now. So let's actually check my system. There's this PC health check. You can download it. It basically helps to give you your, computer PC at a glance. And now, just take note, my laptop, it's not really that new, but it's decent. I mean, let's go ahead and just check the specs that I have. They're okay. 8 GB RAM, very sufficient for a modern operating system. Intel Core i5, again, quite satisfactory. 128 MB graphics card, Intel HD graphics card, and 256 GB SSD storage. Okay, it's 64-bit operating system, so we are good. Currently, of course, you can see I'm running Windows 10 Pro, and the latest version is here. Now, so that's the specs that I have. Okay, let's go ahead and check whether I am actually eligible for a Windows 11 upgrade. Okay, so you can download the PC Health Check, software. You can go ahead and check it on the blog here. I provide useful links for you to be able to, download the PC Health Check program. So you get more details. Just download it, run it, and then you can check. So I want to see. Let's say I want to go to Windows 11. Okay, so I check and let's see. All right. So this is what they say. This PC doesn't currently meet Windows 11 system requirements. Okay. And let's see what the issue is. So the issue is with this TPM 2.0. Okay. It must be supported and enabled on this particular PC. And so you can see that they haven't detected TPM. And if I want to go and find out more about it, I can check out this link here that they provide. It gives you information about what TPM 2.0 is. Now, they do say, as I was researching this, that it's possible that you might actually have this module and that it might just be deactivated on your BIOS. So, really, if you want to pursue this further, you can actually just go ahead and read about it. Go to the BIOS, see if you have the TPM. They give, directions about how to do that. And maybe if it's been deactivated, you could activate it and check whether, then that requirement is fine. You'll come back to the PC Health Check program and check. The other thing is they say that you could have the TPM module, but it's not 2.0. So again, you might have it, but it might not be TPM 2.0. So just something for you to go ahead and, be aware of. Now, so the two things, problematic for me, the TPM module, and then my processor isn't currently supported for Windows 11. Okay. Now remember, I'm running an Intel Core i5, pretty decent processor. I actually still have seen machines that are running Core i3s, Intel Celeron even. So a Core i5 laptop is pretty good by, whatever standards here right now in 2025. And so again, you can go ahead and check more about the supported CPUs that you have. All right, so it gives you the minimum system requirements in terms of CPU. Then you have the RAM should be at least 4 GB. I have 8, and that kind of thing. Of course, the TPM module as well. Trusted platform module. So if you're running Windows 10, so that's your first option. See if you can be able to upgrade to Windows 11, and then you can be able to go ahead and upgrade it. Okay. And usually if it is possible for you to upgrade, then the upgrade process is pretty seamless. But of course, always back up your data just in case anything happens. All right. So then what if you're not able to upgrade to Windows 11? What are your options? Okay. Do you throw away your laptop? Do you buy a new laptop? Or that's also something else that Microsoft is also recommending, either upgrade to Windows 11 or, check if you can be able to get some, newer hardware. Okay, so some of their Surface, yes, move to Windows 11 by purchasing a new PC. Okay, so you can find a new PC here. Now, so the question is, I have my laptop, pretty decent Core i5. I mean, do I throw it away and buy a whole new laptop just because I can't upgrade it to Windows 11? No. It's a very usable machine. It works fine. Like, there's no need for me to throw this hardware away, buy a new one. Okay. So if you're in this particular situation, good news, you have option 2. Okay. Option 2 would be to consider upgrading to Linux. Okay. Now, switching to Linux is a very viable option. I mean, you have so many options to choose from. This is a modern, secure, and open source alternative. And I want to just go ahead and take you through what are some of the benefits that you would be getting if you actually switch to Linux, which is what I recommend. Now, switching to Linux is ideal even for older PCs. Even if you have a Core i3 or even an older PC than a Core i3, Linux would be the best option for you. It would be able to work. It requires a lot less resources and it can be able to work fine for you. You have very many user-friendly distributions that you could consider. Ubuntu, Linux Mint, very good, even Zorin. All those would be viable options that you can be able to consider. And I go into all these reasons here in the blog. Let me just quickly mention what they are. Number one, it works on almost any hardware. It is free forever. So you don't need to worry about the TPM module or processor limitations. You're totally fine. Almost any hardware, any PC you have will work. Linux is free forever. You don't have to worry about, being at a situation where you're forced to, buy a new laptop and whatnot, or incur license fees and whatnot. You can actually just download, install it and whatnot, and you're good to go. It's good for the environment, e-waste has become, a really huge problem. And so it's important that we ensure that we don't throw away any usable hardware that simply just goes prematurely to landfills and whatnot. We can actually reuse and recycle the machines that we have. Linux is a secure, stable, and privacy-focused operating system. So for those ones who are very particular about that, then you're good to go. You're not forced, to update or upgrade your machines. You can actually do it on your own timetable. Bloatware is, an issue that you don't have to worry about with Linux. A lot of times you simply just install what you need and you can remove almost every other program that you don't need. I personally love the whole open source philosophy, just the freedom that you get to be able to use, study, share, and improve on the software. For me, a very compelling case for using Linux. And it's perfect for learners and entrepreneurs, like I've mentioned before in some of my other videos. It gives you a really good platform for growth. If you want to explore business tools like Odoo, which I go into in this particular channel, how to host your own services, dive into software development, all these are great reasons to use Linux. And you have a very large community where you can be able to get support. So I'd recommend jumping into this particular video that I go into how to get started with Linux to be able to find out how to begin. So you're not really locked out. So anyone who's using Windows 10, really staying on Windows 10 is not an option long term. Either upgrade to Windows 11 or actually consider going and moving to Linux. Now, it might be a little bit daunting for those ones who are not really conversant with Linux. How do you get started? I've done videos just to be able to guide you on all this. And so you can go into this particular playlist and find out. And I'll be doing more just to be able to help you get started and situated well on Linux. So as a parting shot, my own personal recommendation would be, if you've made the decision to jump into Linux, I would highly recommend zeroing in on a couple of options. Now, I've focused mainly on Ubuntu and Linux Mint in my videos, but as I was going through some of the distros and whatnot, I tried out a few of them and I thought some of them are really good. They could work for different situations for different people. One would be Zorin OS. If you've never heard of Zorin OS is a computer that really gives you a soft landing if you're coming from Windows 11. I might just have I think I've installed it once, but that was a number of years ago. I might just dive into Zorin OS just to be able to help you get to know how to get situated with Zorin OS. As I was going through the features, I saw some really, really great features with Zorin OS. So some benefits here would be, you get a very familiar desktop, okay? So for those ones coming from Windows, the user experience is very similar to Windows or Mac OS. So for those ones who are really particular about that, Zorin OS might be a good option for you. They do have some features that are very nice, like very similar to what you would actually get from Windows. I think some of them were, let me see. Yes. So you can link your phone and your computer with Zorin Connect, okay, which is very similar to if you're one of those people who uses Phone Link, you might find that that's something that you might want to consider. If it's one of those features that you've gotten used to on Windows and you want to really have it on your, as you move into Linux, then this would be great for you. And the features are really great. You can be able to sync your notifications and messages. You can send files and photos between your phone and computer. You can control your computer's mouse and keyboard and a number of other useful presentation features, using your phone as a remote, controlling your music and video, and so on and so forth. So really great. Something else that was also good with Zorin OS that I saw, I was pleasantly surprised, is that if you dual boot it, you can actually access your files from your Windows systems. So I haven't tried it, but I thought this was interesting for somebody who really wants that kind of feature. I've tried dual booting a while back. I got a little bit tired of switching from one OS to the other, so a number of years ago, I just moved totally to Linux. But if dual boot is something that would work for you, you still need Windows, and even whether you upgrade to Windows 11 or not, then you might want to consider Zorin OS and a few other options as well. So Zorin OS would be one option that I would recommend. The other option I'd recommend would be some of the flavor or Linux Mint. Now, Linux Mint is a derivative of Ubuntu, so it's based off of Ubuntu. There's Linux Mint. Currently, the latest version is 22.2, based off of the latest long-term support version for Ubuntu. So this a great alternative. Again, very one nice features. You get a lot of applications right out of the box. So Linux Mint would be a good option, and at least for Linux Mint, I have gone a little bit into that in my videos. So that would be the other option that you would consider. Now, then after that would be some of the other flavors of Ubuntu. So for Ubuntu, they do have a number of flavors if you would want to have a different, desktop experience. So you can dive into the Ubuntu flavors here. You have Ubuntu Baji, you have Kubuntu, you have Ubuntu Mate, you have a number of other options here. Now, I've sampled a few of them, and for me, if I were to recommend Ubuntu, I'd probably say try out Ubuntu Baji and Ubuntu Cinnamon and Ubuntu Mate. Yeah. So those three, I think, for me would be great for anyone coming from Windows. And then the other option now would be to just actually get, Ubuntu. So you can either get the long-term support version or you can get the latest release, which is 25.10, which was actually released this October. And so for most people, I would recommend, if you want to install Linux once and forget about it, then go with the long-term support version. You have it available for 5 years and even longer with extended support. So that would be a great alternative for you. If you're interested in having the very latest, packages, then you can actually go for the latest release version, which is 25.10, Questing Quokka. So this would take you for 9 months until somewhere around April, actually July next year, 2026. So that would be great for you. I will actually be running Ubuntu 25.10 on my home laptop, and I'm running 24.04 in my work laptop. So I just thought I would actually use those two just to be able to give me a feel of those two distributions. I've tried them out. They both work for what I need, which is mainly, installing Odoo and locally on my machine and doing a little bit of, module development and whatnot. I've tried it on both and it's fine. So if you're interested in moving along, especially with the previous videos that I had done and the reasons that I had given, especially here for um, perfect for learners and entrepreneurs, which is what I'll be focusing on moving forward. Just as a great platform for growth, if you want to understand how to install Odoo, how to work with Odoo, you'll see that I'll be working mainly with Ubuntu. But all these options that I've given, Zorin OS, Linux Mint, some of the other flavors of Ubuntu would be viable options. So moving forward, a lot of the videos I'll be doing, a lot of the tutorials I'll be showing about Odoo, how to install it, will either be on Ubuntu 24.04 or on Ubuntu 25.10. If you want to learn how to download the ISO, how to install it, how to run it, check out some of my other videos that I had done, how to get set up on those, and this will help you to be able to begin. So you can see I go into how to make a bootable USB, how to install it, and then just your first steps, with Ubuntu. I will probably do a video on how to get set up with Ubuntu 25.10. Haven't done that one, and then move forward from there. But basically, that's it. If you're on Windows 10, remember you're not stuck. You can be able to either upgrade to Windows 11 or go ahead and move to Linux. All right. So see you in the next one.